The big thing is just to talk to people, communicate with them, tell them what your intentions are, stop and chat and say hi to people. It's always nice when you're passing somebody on there, hey, how you doing? If you're not sure about the trail that you're on or what the weather conditions are up ahead, if somebody's coming back from the way you're going, ask them, hey, how's the trail look up there? How far is this to wherever your destination is? And talk to people.
Respect the trail. I mean, the trails are there for a reason. They've been built to minimize erosion. Don't go off the trails if you can help it. Obviously stepping off trails and there's traffic makes sense, but stick to the trails. Don't think you know better and try to develop your own social trails. That just causes erosion and causes problems in the parks.
I like to listen to music and other things on my iPod when I'm out hiking, so don't get the noise canceling earbuds, because then you can't hear what's going on around you, and not just you can't hear other hikers or cyclists or runners or horses, but you also may not be able to hear wild animals that are out there, or thunder that may be coming in and the weather's going to change, or the rattlesnake that may be nearby. I wear little headphones that go over my ears, they don't seal them, so I can still hear everything going on around me and hear whatever it is I'm listening to that day.
Good guidance is, if you're running and you have music on, make sure you can hear your own footsteps. If you can't, it's too loud, plain and simple.
One way to cut down on user conflicts is just make your presence known. If you're coming up on a hiker, a biker, a stroller, a horseback rider, slow down. You will want to announce your presence. Say something to the tune of rider back, cyclist back. You slow down to almost a stop. As a cyclist, when you're on the trails, you should always realize that you're kind of at the bottom of the etiquette chain.
I typically, when it comes to mountain bikers, I just step off the trail. It's a lot easier for me to do that because I'm not carrying as much momentum as someone on a bike. That's much more weight, that's much more momentum. Sometimes it's harder for them to stop and get off the trail, even though normally they should yield to, to the trail runner or to the hiker. Mountain bikers are supposed to yield to pedestrians. Everyone is supposed to yield to horses. Horses can kick really hard, so that makes a lot of sense.
Horses typically have the right of way, but sometimes it's actually easier for the horses to move off the trail and let oncoming traffic go by, or traffic from behind. It depends on you and your horse, what you're comfortable with. The best thing to do is, when you hear people coming behind you or you see people coming in front of you, to ask them to do what you prefer. When you see bikes on the trail, the best thing to do is try to talk to the people on the bikes. Many people on bikes don't understand horses and don't understand that they have a strong flight instinct because they are a prey animal. You might have them stop their bikes, might have them come up to you and talk to you and your horse. Talking is a key thing because the horses may not recognize a cyclist with the helmet and all the biking gear on as actually being a person, as funny as that sounds.
Having that relationship between bikers and horseback riders is really important. If there's two groups that have always had sort of a misunderstanding, that's going to be the group.
With a dog, the thing is, make sure you understand the park rules of wherever you're at. In El Paso County parks, your dog can be off leash in most places, but they have to be under voice control. So your dog can't be just running willy-nilly. You have to be able to recall your dog. In other parks, you may have to have your dog on a leash, and in some parks, you're allowed to have dogs on some trails and not on others. So make sure you understand the park rules of wherever it is you're bringing your dog.
Hikers with dogs on the trail, there's a lot of those around here too. If they have a dog that's not on a leash, you might ask them if they could get a hold of their dog. If it's on a leash, you might thank them for having it on a leash and keeping it away from your horse. If you know your horse is okay with dogs, it's probably not a big deal. But there are some horses who are frightened by them, especially if they're getting barked at. And then it's really important to make sure that they keep their dog well away from your horse.
You just never know how that horse is going to react to the dog, how the dog's going to react to a horse. So I usually find that if there's going to be horses around, I just leave the dog on the leash no matter what. When I run into a cyclist, I always pull the dog in closer to me. I always have Cole come over and stay closer to me because I don't want him darting in front of the cyclist and maybe causing him to crash or getting caught up in his leash or anything.
What I'm looking for is a leash. I'm looking for a dog that's wandering from trail side to trail side. over and over. You'll sometimes have the dogs come up close to you because they're friendly, they want to play. So having a slow speed really helps there. The last thing you want to do is run over a small dog. A big dog will make you crash, and in any case someone's going to get hurt there, and most likely it's the dog.
Announce yourself, so that gives ample opportunity for the hiker to maybe reel in the dog a bit or step off the trail and get the dog off the trail, so there's a smooth passing lane there for you.
Watch out for other dogs. Other people may not be abiding by the rules, and their dogs may be running loose and not be under control, so make sure that your dog is under control. Watch out for other dogs.
Just be aware that some dogs may startle, some may not care, some may just stand in the trail and you have to go around them. It's part of the animal nature.
Make sure you bring a bag to pick up after your dog, and make sure you dispose of it properly. Don't leave it on the trail. When I don't have my dog with me, if I hear a cyclist coming, I'll make room for them, try to step off the trail and allow them to go past me. If a horse is coming, pretty much the same thing. I pull off the side and give the horse plenty of room to get past.
It's key, try to not to sneak up on people and startle them. Let them know you're coming up behind them, say passing on your left, and please and thank you just go miles and miles and miles. It just helps to foster the community of all trail users by being polite and courteous.